Hello and welcome in to another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right on PHNX. My name is Derek Montia. Of course, I am your mayor of PHNX in about 3 days. Once again, this man was going to just headbang right off the chair.
Too hard there.
Yeah, he went. That's why he's Mr. Electric. It's the one and only Shawn Jesse Friedman will be joining us shortly from Los Angeles, where he will be covering this very, very big series the Diamondbacks have against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I don't mean to overhype that, because at this point, the Dodgers aren't even in our eyesight anymore,
I mean,
right?
it's depending on how you're looking at the rest of this year, it's either not relevant at all, or it's like every series is important. So it is. But and in terms of like all the other opponents that they face, like most of them are like in this wild card race. So
arguably, it's their toughest week because they take on the Los Angeles Dodgers, followed by a series back here at home with the Baltimore Orioles, which are a very hot baseball game. But in the meantime, you can make sure to follow Jesse for all of his adventures in Los Angeles. And in the meantime, we will have him on later to preview that series. But we want to talk about this enormous win for the Arizona Diamondbacks over the Cincinnati Reds. They did not pull off the sweep, but they got as close to it as you humanly could. I don't want to talk about Saturday's game too much, but I do want to say this. Even though things went completely off the rails for this team and they blew a game that they honestly should have won, I can't help but appreciate their ability to fight back late in that when they were down in extra innings and tie it again. I really thought that they were sunk. And, of course, that amazing ball game ends on a balk, which is just awful. But anyway, we won't talk about that one. We will talk about, of course, how good the Arizona Diamondbacks pitching staff was in this one. And when I say pitching staff, of course, I mean the starters. The starting pitchers were just absolutely fantastic for this team. Merrill Kelly, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 12 strikeouts. Had to leave the game due to hamstring cramping. Otherwise, that might have been 8 innings, 9 innings. Who knows? Brandon Pfaadt, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts.
He probably could have gone longer, too.
He probably could have gone longer, and that was a big bit of a topic for debate as well. Zach Davies, the guy we really worried about, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 Ks.
I'll take it.
I mean, the Diamondbacks they did end up losing his start.
Yeah, but not because of him necessarily.
Not because of him.
I'll take it. That's all you can ask from Zach Davies' start, is that he is not the reason the team loses.
Yeah. And then Slade, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 5 Ks.
Definitely take that.
Do we have a pitching staff?
I think we might have a pitching staff. I'm not quite ready to say that Zach Davies is like rounding out this pitching staff, but
brother,
there's outside of him, you throw any of the other 4 starters out, I'm feeling good about the D-backs' chances in that game, at least from a pitching standpoint.
4 earned runs from 4 starts, 3 walks in 4 starts.
Yeah, and those are 4 starts that don't include. Oh yeah, and you don't include Zach Gallen.
Right.
Like it literally is if something's going to go wrong in the pitching staff, it's going to be in one of those. More than likely, I mean, at least based on how Pfaadt's been pitching, one of those last 2 games there, and it didn't really, at least again from a starting pitching perspective. So if they can keep doing that, then the team becomes they become a much harder team to beat, because there's no game in which you can rely on the pitching staff, or at least the starting pitching staff, shooting the bed at this point.
And I think the other thing here is that Lovullo knows that he can go. He doesn't want to. He probably should try to refrain from doing it, but he can turn a Slade Ciccone and Jesse makes sure, because Tori's calling him Ciccone, right? I don't care what Baseball Reference says. We're putting the ch in there. It's
Baseball
Ciccone.
Reference is unofficial anyways.
Yeah, they just take a guess at it.
They say themselves it's unofficial.
But let me tell you, if they have to turn to a bullpen game, I don't think Tori's going to shy away from doing so. But hopefully he won't need to with the numbers these guys are.
Yeah, and I mean, this is all about the postseason, right? And you look at these guys, Merrill Kelly. I mean, again, he obviously had the cramping issue, but he probably is going further. He's definitely going further in that game. He went out there to pitch that last inning, or that 8th inning, I guess. So there's that. Then there's you look at. Fuck! I kind of lost my train of thought there. They're gonna let these guys go further into games. Yeah. Like Pfaadt is gonna get to go further into games.
Absolutely.
Obviously, like if you're in the postseason and like they're not worried about pitch count.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, especially with the Fott start, right? Like, he probably could have gone further in that game.
Well, and there's other things, too, to take into consideration. Like, a lot of times it's not as much the pitch count as much as Torrey wanting to refrain from them going through them going through the lineup a third time. Usually that can be a big reason why.
But we've all seen how that can backfire in the postseason.
We've seen how that can backfire with Torrey, right? I mean, that straight up almost happened in this series.
In the postseason specifically, there is no worrying about pitch count or arms or anything. Like, if you're the guy, you're going out there and you're going to pitch until you can't anymore. Yeah. And so that's kind of encouraging, right? Like, if your concern is the performance of the bullpen, you're probably not going to have to rely on them as much in the postseason, assuming these starters keep performing the way they are. And some of these starters might end up coming out of the bullpen instead, right? Like a Slade, you're probably not getting a Slade start in the postseason. Probably, hopefully not getting a Zach Davies start in the postseason. Those guys become great weapons out of a bullpen, though, if they end up getting used in that way in a postseason.
Absolutely.
So,
and I mean, at this point, I hate to be negative or already saying like the Diamondbacks aren't going to go very far, but you're right. Like, at least as far as the matchups that they need to worry about here initially as a wild card team is a 3-game series, right? So like your 3-game, your pitchers in that series is going to be Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and Brandon Pfaadt. Yeah. Or do you put Brandon Pfaadt in the middle there so that you have Merrill Kelly perhaps to go?
But it depends on what happens in game 1, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, definitely. That's a big point.
We're definitely getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are getting ahead of ourselves. Before we get on to the playoffs and wild card talk, let's take a look at the numbers for this series because the Arizona Diamondbacks, once again, that starting pitching ERA, big reason why they won this series. And I don't know so much about that relief pitching ERA. But, yeah, we have here 25-20, 36 hits, 28. The Cincinnati Reds, they made a lot of mistakes in this series. I mean, their youth really showed, and the Diamondbacks, I think, did an excellent job at taking advantage of it. Maybe not on all instances like they should, but they did do a good job of taking advantage of it in many of these instances. So this has been fairly impressive for me. And honestly, that starting pitching ERA for me is something that's just kind of wild. Like the Diamondbacks in a 4-game series put up a 1.57 ERA against one of the better offensive teams in baseball.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it feels very much like them kind of playing the baseball that they were playing at the beginning of the season, like them being aggressive and chaotic and taking advantage of other teams making mistakes and them not being the ones making mistakes.
Right.
But I think as we're rounding into the postseason here, like this is starting to become kind of what the idea people have had about this team. Like although that wasn't the case during like the losing streak, I think the bullpen's the weak point. You have solid starters. You have a lot of capable offensive weapons. It's just a matter of them all putting it together. Like. It's just a matter of how much the bullpen is going to have to be relied on because you can't really rely on them all that much.
No, this was atrocious. Atrocious. It's like, I mean, we joke about it. We throw up the bullpen meme. We do all of that stuff. But it really felt like the bullpen was actively working against the team. Which is,
again, so frustrating because during the dark times, that's just how I'm going to refer to that month and a half, the dark times.
The dark times.
Like, the bullpen wasn't bad. It wasn't the problem. So, like, it's so frustrating to, again, and it kind of was the theme of the season. I think just all put it together at once, they become very tough to beat. But I think the reality of what the bullpen is much closer to what you've been seeing of them recently than what you saw of them during the dark times. It's just not the best bullpen.
Yeah.
It's not the worst, but it's not the best.
They outstole bases, though. They stole more bases than the Reds.
Eat your heart out, Elly De La Cruz.
That's right.
Got to get on base to steal them.
Well, and speaking of that, I mean, obviously, we have the Corbin Carroll milestone here where Corbin Carroll becomes the 4th rookie in Major League Baseball history with 20 home runs and 40 stolen bases.
I believe only one of them has not won Rookie of the Year. He came in second.
And that's right. And there's only one guy to do it since 1977, and his name? Michael Trout. Not a bad guy to be associated with. But Corbin Carroll did put both Elly De La Cruz and Matt McClain in their place as far as this whole Rookie of the Year debate
I feel
concerned.
Like they kind of put themselves in their place.
They really did.
They sucked.
Let's talk about it. Because Elly De La Cruz is getting all of the hype for a throw when this man went 1 for 16. 1 for 16.
Well, let's focus on the throw for a second.
1 for 16.
Like, people are always talking about this throw. Oh, he threw it 99.7 miles per hour or whatever it is. First off, He was out by like 8 feet. Any shortstop in baseball gets Corbin Carroll out there. You want to know why? Because they might not be throwing it as fast, but I bet you they throw it to home plate, not 5 feet up the third baseline, and has Corbin Carroll running into the shins of the catcher. Like, the throw in and of itself is impressive because it's going damn near 100 miles per hour. But like, any shortstop makes that play.
Corbin Carroll 6 for 12. 1 home run.
Pretty good.
2 triples,
Pretty
1
good.
double, 5 walks.
And then one of those
2
triples
strikeouts,
inside the park.
2 for 2 on stolen bases, 0 errors. Elly De La Cruz, 1 error. Matt McClain, 2 errors. 3 for 18 for Matt McClain. 1 homer. No walks. 7 strikeouts. He also had a stolen base. So did Elly De La Cruz. Elly De La Cruz also struck out 7 times. So I don't know. I think that we can. Damon, I think you can put your efforts elsewhere for now. I think there's other guys that you need to maybe
Matt
take out.
Matt McClain is really good.
Yeah.
But he's also terrible at defense, apparently.
Well, let's take a look at how good Matt McClain and Corbin Carroll are, shall we? Because we have a little comparison graphic for those two gentlemen. And, of course, advantage Corbin Carroll once again.
This is a bar from Brian that he tweeted. Elly may have won the battle with the throw, but Corbin's going to win the F war. Look at that.
Fantastic. And he does. He does win the F war. 4.9 to 3.3. 40 stolen bases to Matt McClain's pathetic 14. 22 home runs to a paltry 16 for Matt McClain.
You're starting from the bottom up. It is, I feel like,
I'm going in the wrong
critical
direction.
to acknowledge that Matt McClain has 113 less plate appearances.
Sure. Because he's not as good of a player and he doesn't play as much as Corbin Carroll does. So
okay, yeah, we can go with that.
Is that fine?
Talk to him, Derek.
We can go with that. No, I'm trying. Talk your shit.
No, but honestly, it seems like there's always another guy. And that's one thing that we've been saying since the James Outman days, is there's always another guy. I'm sure Outman's name is still being thrown around with his performance since the All-Star break and such too.
Where's Maria?
The biggest thing here is that Corbin Carroll continues to do it. He continues to do it consistently. He even had that slump, and I know we're all very well aware. We all asked what the hell was wrong with Corbin Carroll during that period of time, but Corbin Carroll hitting his way out of it lately because he's been very good.
I'd really like to see where the MVP race was if he didn't go through that slump, because like now it's Mookie's award. Apparently, he became the favorite this morning.
Mookie did take over as the NL favorite for the MVP award, and I'm sure that's going to continue to change. But just like the Rookie of the Year thing is going to continue to change.
No, I don't think it is.
I don't mean change. I mean there'll probably be another guy that pops back up here. We'll probably get James Outman's name thrown back up here around. We'll probably get a couple of other guys. Alvarez?
That's the only one that hasn't really been thrown into. Yeah, like the Mets guys have not really been thrown into this conversation as much as they probably should be.
Should they?
I mean,
I guess, because Rookie of the Year isn't the same as like an MVP, where the performance of the team really should impact what you
when I say should be thrown into it, I mean in the same sense that Elly and Matt McClain should be thrown into it, in the sense that nobody should be. But if we're putting people in it, then maybe they probably should be in that conversation.
Maybe Senga, but I don't know about Alvarez.
I've just heard good things. I haven't really looked at his numbers.
Senga's also 30.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Like him and Masataka Yoshida, like because Masataka Yoshida has gone on record and said that he doesn't want Rookie of the Year because he's not a rookie, because he's played professional ball in Asia for whatever. How do you feel about that? Like,
it's something I feel.
In the Rookie of the Year versus Newcomer of the Year, I guess.
We were discussing the Rookie of the Year MVP combo that Corbin Carroll might potentially be a candidate for, and of course Ichiro is the other person that gets brought up.
Just like,
and Ichiro was like 28, 29 years old.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how he can be Rookie of the Year and also have like the most hits in professional baseball history. It's like, okay, you're counting all of these hits from Japan, but also even Rookie of the Year, which I don't really have a problem with. Like, I love Ichiro, but
it just has to be one or the other.
Yeah, it
can't be a rookie if you've played professional
contradiction
sport in a different country just because you're new.
If you want to call it Newcomer of the Year, like I'm fine with that. That's what they do in like the Pac-12, RIP. Like they call it the Newcomer of the Year instead of Freshman of the Year. Or no, I think they have both, don't they? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you. Regardless, the point of this whole conversation
should be a Rookie of the Year, though.
Corbin Carroll. He's your Rookie of the Year. Sure. But let's take a look at the wild card standings because things continue to heat up for the Arizona Diamondbacks as far as this goes. They continue to put some distance between them and the teams that they need to put distance between. I still don't understand how the Diamondbacks had such a good weekend and the Cubs are still up by half a game.
That was
wild to me. But they were up a half a game after Thursday, I believe, due to they had the Diamondbacks didn't play and then they won, and then the Reds also won their doubleheader, so that's how things kind of switched around there. But this is looking nice. This is looking very nice. And the better thing about this is after the Marlins, which aren't featured here on this list, is the Padres. No. After the Marlins is the Padres, who I believe now are 8 back. And at one point before the Diamondbacks played the Padres, I think there were one game separating them and the Padres and that final wild card spot. So now things are looking good, guys. Things are looking good for this team.
I mean, I feel like this is, again, as we get closer to the playoffs, like things start to shake out, and I think you're ultimately going to get the 6 best teams in the playoffs of the National League. And I think, like, I was just talking about this with one of Mac's interns, Savannah, who's a Giants fan. She's from the Bay Area. And I was like, the Giants don't make any sense. They're not that good of a team. Like, the roster's not that good. They shouldn't be that good.
Their batting lineup is terrible.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. And it's not like they have a Cy Young candidate either. Like, it's not like their pitching staff's
Webb's good.
Yeah, but it's not like they have any.
Logan Webb is there.
It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. That's why they're playing that well. I think ultimately you're getting, like, the Reds, I think, were overperforming. They got that shot in the arm from Elly, and they were obviously really hot. But, like, I think ultimately you're getting the 6th best team. Or let me take that back. You're getting 3 division champions and then the 3 next best teams, because I don't know that the Brewers are one of the 6 best teams, but that's just how this works.
Fair enough. But joining us right now, by the way, to talk about this Arizona Diamondback series with the Reds just a little bit is the one and only Jesse Friedman. Jesse, are you here?
Jesse.
Big blurry Jesse.
I think I'm here. Am I here?
There he is. Jesse, what were your thoughts on the starting pitching in this series for the Diamondbacks against the Reds? They seem to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, it was incredible, right? I mean, everyone going into the series was concerned because the Diamondbacks are playing their biggest series of the year, and they didn't line up Zach Gallen to pitch the finale of the series. It seemed like a missed opportunity going in. And you look back now, I mean, I think Diamondbacks starting pitchers combined for 23 innings in this series, and they allowed a combined 4 earned runs. There's literally 1 earned run per game on average. That'll play in the biggest series of the year. The Diamondbacks were, they were able to take care of business against the Reds, and that was their biggest series of the year. And things are only going to get more and more important down the stretch. But to date, that is, this weekend was huge for them.
They got big offense when they needed it, which is something that we haven't really seen them be able to do at times. We've seen them lose a lot of close games and not be able to get that big hit. But it felt like in this series, they were able to kind of convert some Reds mistakes into some big innings as far as offensive numbers go. Lourdes had a huge solo home run on Sunday that tied it in the 7th. And the offense, of course, got those runs across in the 8th. Even in the loss, I felt like it was fairly impressive that they were able to muster up enough runs there at the end of the game in extra innings to tie it up after the Reds had gone up by, I think it was 3 runs. So this team just offensively feels like they are getting things back on track.
Yeah, on some level, you feel like you could have had a sweep here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if the Diamondbacks I don't think they really deserve to win that game because, they scored 3 runs against Alexis Diaz in the bottom of the 10th, and all of those runs were unearned. Matt McClain, as you guys talked about earlier, did not showcase the best defense at second base in this series, and the Diamondbacks were able to take advantage of that. It was a winnable game. It was an extremely winnable game when all was said and done. Of course, Paul Sewald, had an opportunity to close that game and just win a clean 9-inning game over the Cincinnati Reds. Wasn't able to pull that off. But yeah, you'll take 3 wins out of 4 for sure, even if you definitely had a chance to win that 4th game.
Well, we want to thank everybody for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so right now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live. Leave us a thumbs up just to let Jesse know you appreciate him being here. And most importantly, if you're listening on the audio podcasting side, subscribe over there. Leave us a review so that way we get that feedback. We have a very interesting list that is dropping on gophnx.com about the top 25 Arizona athletes.
PHNX ranks.
We are going to be very angry about a lot of it. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debating. There's going to be mostly Damon getting angry about Tucson athletes not being ranked higher. I know that's what's coming. I know that's coming, 100%. But make sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. We also have some more discussion in regards to that this week right here on this show. But if you haven't signed up yet over at gophnx.com for a Diehards membership, what are you waiting for? Do it today. Join the PHNX family. Get that membership. You will get a free piece of merchandise from the phnxlocker.com, including that incredible snake shirt that Jesse is wearing right now on this show. I mean, he's not really wearing it, but we have it positioned under him very cleverly. There he goes. He's perfect. But we also have all sorts of wonderful deals going on right now. It is our countdown to kickoff for the 23-24 season. All T-shirts and hats on sale for $24, including the snake bat tee.
Go get that snake bat.
Get that snake bat tee right now, or sign up for that Die Hard membership today and get yourself a free piece of merchandise from the phnxlocker.com. Also, you get yourself a free Mountain Mike's gift certificate for $50. Get a Dobson Ranch card and so much more, including Jesse's newsletter Full Count. You get access to all of our content. You get access to our members only Discord lounge and so much more. So join us today over here. Become a Die Hard member. Jesse, taking a look ahead at this series with the Dodgers, I don't want to make it out like it's critical because I feel like, and this is something somebody said the other day, we are in a different division now. We are in the wild card division. And that's what we are focusing on because the Dodgers have been playing such good baseball that they have just ran away with the NL West. And really, with a double-digit lead, I don't feel like it's even healthy for us to try to say we can catch the Dodgers or even focus on that at this point. But still a 3-game series with the Dodgers, very important, and a very difficult week for the Diamondbacks overall that kicks off with this series.
Yeah, our Dodgers and Orioles, right? I think when we did our power rankings a few days ago, I think we had the Dodgers second and the Orioles third. So you're basically playing, two of potentially the top 3 teams in baseball right now this week. So yeah, every game matters for this Diamondbacks team down the stretch. You don't necessarily want to think of it as like every game is a must-win game, but it sort of feels that way. It sort of feels like every game is a must-win game at this point. So
let's take a look at those numbers for the Dodgers.
This is going to be a...
Sorry about that, Jesse. We have a little bit of a delay, so excuse me if I talk over Jesse like that. But this team, 80-49, Jesse, just really impressive what they've been able to do this season.
Yeah, people coming into the year were like, oh, the Dodgers won't be that good, right? The Padres were sort of like the trendy team. That's the team that a lot of people were picking to win the NL West division. Of course, I was not one of those people. I never would have made that prediction. I absolutely did make that prediction. But you can see the Dodgers have, in some ways they're not as good of a team as they were last year for sure. You see here their starting pitching ERA this year is 4.48, which is very high for this Dodgers team. I want to say that would be the highest they've had in a very long time. But when you've got Mookie Betts and you've got Freddie Freeman, those two guys right now, along with Ronald Acuna, probably the best 3 position players in baseball right now. Those 3, the Dodgers have 2 of them. So yeah, when you have a team OPS of almost 800, when your bullpen is above average, not great, but above average. And the Dodgers continue to play good defense as well, as you see there with their 29 defensive runs saved. That ranks in the top half of the league. So yeah, they're basically, pretty decent at everything except on offense. They are spectacular. They are, a top 4 offense in baseball. All has to do with Betts and Freddie Freeman. It's amazing what having, 2 of the best players in the game on your team can do for your lineup.
Those 2 have a combined OPS of over 1,000 this year, by the way. And Mookie Betts is now the betting odds favorite for National League MVP, by the way, surpassing Ronald Acuna Jr., which was a bet I told you all to take not too long ago, and I hope you did, because the field is just too wide open.
And me and Shawn said you
guys
stupid.
We laughed in your face.
You told me I was an idiot. They did it on the show. They did it privately after the show.
We did it amongst each other when you weren't present.
Yeah, when I wasn't even here, they were like, what a
Shawn
dumbass.
and I was like,
what a
Derek's
fucking
the
idiot.
biggest idiot I know.
The turntables have turned.
How the turntables have turned. Well, Jesse, you will be in Los Angeles covering this series. So we, again... Did he leave?
I think he
he bounced. He was like, I gotta go right now.
Hopefully his house isn't burning down because the smoke detector.
Like, we talk about people worrying about Jesse. I am not going to sleep at night knowing that he didn't change that goddamn battery in that smoke detector. What are we doing here? But like I said, of course,
check your smoke detectors.
Check your smoke detectors, folks. That's the most important thing here. Most importantly, though, of course, like I said, Mookie Betts, now the betting odds favorite for National League MVP. You know where you can get down on this kind of action?
Where's that?
It's on the BetMGM Sportsbook app.
Of course.
Get down on the BetMGM app. Nerfy Fridays. We celebrate. We all hail the Nerfy Friday. All you got to be is an existing BetMGM Sports user, and you can get down on the Nerfy Friday. What's a Nerfy? No run, first inning bet. All you got to do is opt into the promotion and place a no-run first-inning bet on any Major League Baseball game.
Hit last Friday again.
That's by betting no. That's right. On will there be a run in the first-inning market? If your bet loses, but only one run is scored during the first inning, you will receive a bonus bet back equaling your stake up to whatever designated amount that BetMGM puts up. Right now, sometimes it's $25, but they've been bumping it up to $50. So available only on Fridays. Make sure to not miss that out. If you haven't done so yet, sign up for BetMGM and use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Well, patio season is almost here. I'm not going to say it's here today because it's 115 degrees out. But luckily, if you go to Illegal Pete's, you can either sit on the patio or you can sit inside where there's lovely air conditioning. But regardless, you're going to have yourself a great time over there. Illegal Pete's is the place to go for margaritas year-round here in Arizona. It's the strongest you can find in the state. And they also have just some amazing food, irresistible drinks, mouth-watering food, everything you need to relax and enjoy yourself. Have a great meal. They have a full menu for bowls, tacos, and burritos, nachos, salads. They have a full bar with custom cocktails and so much more. Of course, Illegal Pete's is your go-to spot. Stop by for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day at all 12 locations. Illegal Pete's, the go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers for 28 years now. And speaking of buddies, you guys are buddies.
True.
And, of course, it's Monday. We know what we do on Monday. But you know what we do all the time. This guy loves it because every month, right? Every month on this show, Black History Month.
Oh, yeah.
Every month on this show, Women's History Month. Every month on this show, Black Women's History Month.
Where's Latina History Month?
Every month on this show is Latina?
Well, I mean, Latina kind of just gets it together, right?
Yeah, right.
It's Latino.
Yeah, okay. But we celebrate everybody every month on this show. Every week on this show is Shark Week. Every day on this show, Earth Day, because we recycle. But on Mondays, we go to the mailbag. Let's go!
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox. I try to get to everything in my mailbox. And then once in a while, there's a letter that makes me go, wow, my mailbox.
All right, let's go. What do we got? First question. First question comes from Gabriel, bold as bronze on Twitter. Gabriel says, now that we're back, what's the ceiling and floor of this team record-wise? Wow. I mean, I think as far as what your expectations for this team are concerned, the ceiling should be 90 wins.
Yeah. 31 games left. They're at 69. So
that would be 21. That'd be winning the majority of their games.
Yeah. So I guess the ceiling is, technically speaking, the ceiling is 162.
Yeah.
Obviously they're not going to do that.
I think he means from this point going forward.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the record, yeah. I guess the ceiling, technically speaking, is 31-0.
Yeah.
And the floor is 0-31.
But we can't expect that.
Yeah,
we can't ask that.
I don't think either of those are realistic.
It's like asking them to sweep the Reds. They tried to do it, but they just
hardest.
couldn't hold it.
But yeah, I feel like 90 like can they go 21-10? Can they hit 90 wins?
I think that based on what they have left on their schedule, it's going to be difficult. But when you're asking me what like the absolute best that they can do would be, I would say 90 wins.
Yeah,
because
I think that's...
of course, like I said, they have I think 2 series left with the Colorado Rockies. I know they have 1 series with the White Sox,
and
then they have 1 series. They have 2 series. 1 4-game series with the Mets, who absolutely have to have given up, and of course a 3-game series with that poverty franchise known as the New York Yankees. Did I say that
yes,
right? Okay,
bums.
got that right.
Bums. Right. A lot of them. Bums.
By
the way, did you see what Lowe said on the Rays? Did you see what happened in the Rays Yankee series?
No, what happened?
The bench was cleared twice because they kept hitting the Yankees kept hitting Rays, and in their defense, they all suck at baseball, so it probably wasn't on purpose. But they kept hitting Rays. Randy Arozarena got pissed, and so the bench was cleared once he got hit, and then obviously they separated, and then Arozarena stole second and stole third, and then the pitcher, they both stayed in the game, started talking shit to Arozarena again. Bench is cleared. Afterwards, they asked Lowe about it, and they were like, well, that's just a team that's at the bottom of the standings. They're just trying to find anything they can to get a spark. We're in contention, so we can't concern ourselves with what they're doing. And I'm like, damn fucking straight.
Got him.
Bums.
Got him.
So that's a series they should be able to win.
Yeah.
Getting back to the actual question.
Floor?
I think you flip it. I mean, we saw them in the dark times being the worst team in baseball.
Yeah.
I don't think you can expect them, again, can't expect them to lose 31 straight games, but I think the ceiling, if things get bad fast, or the floor, if things get bad fast again, would be about the opposite for them to go 10-21.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree. I think anything, I mean, they're at how many wins right now?
69. Nice.
I think 10 wins or less is an absolute
oh my God! Yeah, if they lose,
point, right?
If they win less than 10 games, Torrey needs to lose his job.
Yeah, I mean that
would be, especially because like going into you're in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
If you choke that away in that drastic of fashion, like that's how managers lose their jobs.
Right. So there's your ceiling and floor. I guess those reverse records: 21-10, 10-21. What else we got? Michael, I love this question. Michael Rokicki asks, if you can only keep one in free agency, do you keep Lourdes Gurriel or Tommy Pham?
Yikes.
Why? Right?
Recency bias is obviously
Tommy Pham.
You can't even say that really because Lourdes had a big home run yesterday.
He had a huge home run. But I mean, Tommy Pham, the hitting streak and just everything that kind of has sparked since then. It's like the problem with Lourdes is I don't think that the Diamondbacks are willing, and I said this before, they're not going to be willing to pay Lourdes as much as another team is willing to pay Lourdes just based on the fact he was an all-star this year and put up good numbers during a stretch, which is what Lourdes does kind of throughout his career. He's been kind of a streaky hitter where he has these really good stretches and then he has really bad ones, and then it evens out to be some pretty decent numbers, but depending on which version of him you watched, you are going to have a completely different opinion.
Lourdes is vibes guy, like Elly says right here.
Lourdes is absolutely vibes guy.
Yeah, but I mean,
absolutely vibes
you need leadership.
Pham is a different kind of vibes guy. Like he brings a different, not a vibes guy in the traditional sense, but he brings.
I don't know if you call that a vibe, but
let's be real. And Tommy Pham, thank God he's on our team. Great player.
Great player.
But we're seriously going to sit here and act like that dude doesn't seem like a kind of a total dickhead.
I feel like he
Lourdes is like probably the coolest guy in the clubhouse.
I feel like Tommy Pham is the kind of guy who just goes, like, you saw that. I was texting y'all about the post game. I was texting you at least about the post game press conference he had the other day, or an interview he had with Jody on the field, and it was like it sounded like he had just learned his teammates' names. Like he was calling everybody by the first name, and he was like, our pitcher Merrill and Ketel Marte, and it was so like. It was so weird, and I loved it. Like, it was just like he showed up, and he's like, he wants the rest of the team to like him. He doesn't give a shit about nobody else outside the organization, but he's here for it. Listen, I mean, like you were saying, if we're including the financials of this, I think Tommy Pham was a much more realistic target, especially with some of our other goals in the offseason. Like, you'd like to save that money. Yeah. And again, Lourdes is a rather streaky player.
Elizabeth says Pham's vibes scare me. That's what we want.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we want.
I think there's a spot for both of those guys on your team. You need a guy like Pham and a guy like Lourdes, but what I guess I'm saying is what hurts your team more to not have on your team?
But the problem is Ketel's already a vibes guy. Yeah?
Yeah, well, but
Ketel's vibes are good.
My thing about Tommy Pham is that, like, he's not that good. Like, what he's doing now is kind of an outlier. I mean, you look at his career, like he's a solid. I don't want to say that he's not that good. He's a solid player, but he's like kind of outperforming, especially at this age of he's 35 years old. Like, he's doing more than I think you could have reasonably expected from him based on what you've seen from him the rest of his career.
And to be fair,
he's a journeyman for a reason.
And Lourdes Gurriel has more defensive runs saved this year than I would even have imagined.
He's a surprisingly good defensive player.
But he's not, but he is, right? Like,
so
he makes some good plays, but then there are times seeing him in left field where
on Saturday when that ball went like an inch over his glove, and you were like, "Oh, that was like probably should have been a catch."
Yeah,
it
right.
felt like it at
right.
least.
Yeah.
I had a good view. I was in left field, and I was like, I don't know how he didn't catch.
Yeah, that. Right. Yeah, and he's a very tall guy, so you would think if he just jumped a little.
But then he made a good play later in the game.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what you'll get out of him.
So, I think if we're just doing baseball player for baseball player, I'd rather have Lourdes Gurriel. But I think when you consider the money, you're probably getting Tommy Pham for a whole lot cheaper.
That's a good point. I'm family with Lourdes, so I think I have to side with Lourdes as well. Fair. But I'd say the same thing he said. What else we got? Kevin Lundberg says, if the playoffs started today, which pitchers are you wanting on the roster? Starters and relievers. Well, I will say right now
Zach
that
Allen.
The majority of the starters that are on the roster right now are the guys I want there. I will say that maybe Ryan Nelson deserves to, have another chance.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
But for the most part, after this series, I'm riding high on this particular roster. And of course, especially with Zach Davies and Slade, it's a matter of what are they going to do in their next start, right? It's still too small of a sample size, but I will say that right now this team doesn't have a lot of options as far as this goes.
What's the most recent on Tommy Henry?
Tommy Henry sounds like he's going to be done for the year.
Okay,
so he's going to be shut down for the year. We're still waiting to see if Dre Jameson can potentially come back. Dre avoided Tommy John surgery, and everything sounds very positive about Dre coming back. I think Dre, if he was at 100%, would be an absolute, great addition to the bullpen.
I've said it like 50 times that I think he'll win this team a playoff game, but obviously
it's all depending on if he comes back.
How Tory would it be if he was like Zach Davies is our number 3 starter in the playoffs over Brandon Pfaadt?
Yeah.
If he was like, we're going with the experienced guy, that would be the most Tory shit ever.
It would be. On a certain token, I almost wouldn't mind it too much if Pfaadt and
Slade are both available
in the pen, and it's just like if we can get those good 3 innings that we get from Zach Davies sometimes off rip, go for it. Because I would much rather
more of an opener kind of deal.
I would much rather have Zach Davies come in the game on a clean slate at the beginning and figure out real fast if he's going to be dog shit that day than. Because the options for, he's going to be on the roster. He's either starting or coming out of the bullpen. Yeah. I would much rather, I don't want a situation where Miguel Castro has loaded the bases and it's like, oh, here comes Zach Davies. I would much rather Zach Davies start and have a short leash and let these other younger guys who are probably mentally better suited to come out of the pen, if I had to guess. I think that would probably be a better setup, assuming you have to use them.
Well, and especially after hearing Zach Gallen talk about the one thing that was kind of important to him at the All-Star game about starting.
Yeah, was the fact
he
routine.
Got to keep his routine.
To be fair, I mean that Zach Davies has sucked all year, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend the routine has been it's all he's got to do is get in his routine.
Counterpoint. Brandon Pfaadt's a savage.
Brandon Pfaadt is a savage. But also, this is a kid who, at the first half of the season, we were talking about how flustered he seemed. Postseason's a pretty big deal. Especially, if you're going to, I don't know, Citizens Bank Park, or what is it called? That's what they play at, right? Citizens Bank?
I think so.
Yeah, or Wrigley in the postseason.
Sure.
That's gonna be tough.
Yep.
I would, I might take the veteran experience. And again, the leash for all 3 of these guys at the bottom of the rotation, I think is going to be incredibly short. Obviously, it's you fuck up, so one of the other two's coming in. I think is how it ultimately should operate. So it almost doesn't matter who is the starter there. I just think Zach Davies has the smallest opportunity to really fuck this up for the Diamondbacks if he starts as opposed to coming out of the bullpen. That's just me.
You know who's on my postseason roster? Ryan fucking Thompson.
Baby.
The guy is a beast.
Stud.
He must be protected at all costs.
Seawald who?
Whoa. Let's not go that far. But Ryan Thompson absolutely made the entire organization look good in that finale game there. But that's still going to be interesting. I mean, there's a couple of guys that I'm growing weary of myself, and Miguel Castro hasn't been super reliable.
That's the hard part
Justin
about answering
Martinez, another guy. There's just the bullpen. Just everybody's kind of been unreliable.
Right,
I mean, Paul Sewald and right now Ryan Thompson and Paul Sewald are in for sure.
Yeah, Ginkle, I think obviously.
And Kevin Ginkle, that's your 7, 8, 9 potentially.
You have presumably, I'm just going to say for the sake of ease, I guess, like Ciccone or
Bryce Jarvis,
like those and Fott are in the pen. Maybe it's Davies, whatever. So you maybe have to maybe Dre Jameson's back. So then that's another guy you might be able to. And it really is a question of like you look like a guy like Bryce Jarvis. Are you willing to that's kind of a risk in the postseason?
Yeah,
like, you go with a guy like obviously like Scott McGuff's going to be on the roster, but I'm saying like in a terms of who you turn to at any given point, like are you going to go to that guy that you've seen have dominant stretches during the regular season, although you've also seen him be really bad, or are you going to roll the dice really with a guy like Jarvis? Like that's going to be kind of an approach question that we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, interesting.
Bullpen is not an easy question.
No, it's not, because like you said, the biggest thing is, who makes it on the starting rotation and then who might find their way into the bullpen, especially when you're talking about that 3-game series. So we'll see what the Diamondbacks do. But really, I think for me, the impression that's been made on me by a couple of guys, like even with Paul Sewald, like let's be honest, Paul Sewald had 9 games in a row without allowing a run, and then things fell apart for him. But even in those 9 games, things got close to falling apart for Paul Sewald. It wasn't like any of his saves for this team. There's been 1 or 2 that were relatively stress-free, but a lot of them have involved runners being on the base path and Sewald kind of working through, I won't say not having his best stuff, but not necessarily going out there and being completely dominant.
Yeah, dude. My God. Paul Sewald is going to load the bases for Bryce Harper in the
100%.
wild
card. We are going to be in a situation where Paul
like
Sewald's going to scare the shit
out of This is not a Mailbag Monday question. I don't want to talk about
Cody
this.
Bellinger or Bryce Harper are going to be at the plate with the bases loaded, and Paul Sewald's going to have the ball in his hand. It's going to be Paul Sewald or Miguel Castro. One of those 2 things is going to happen with the bases loaded. I'm going to feel much better about one or the other. One of them is going to have us. One of them is going to upset our stomach. The other one is going to force us to shit our pants.
If it's Miguel Castro in that situation, Torrey needs to be gone.
I
agree.
I feel like Damon needs to be on camera for the faces he's making right now, because they're making me sick to my stomach.
Oh my God, Damon and I.
It's the same way he looks at me in the 9th inning when they bring in Miguel Castro or when they bring in Scott McGuff.
We're gonna have to figure out a way to have Damon a part of that.
Yeah,
a part of the watch-alongs that happen during the postseason.
We have to. What else we got? We got more Mailbag Monday questions. Ryan Hanley, first. It's my birthday today. Happy birthday, Ryan. He wants to know who starts in a must-win game. Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly. I did that kind of backwards. Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen, but
it's Zach Gallen.
It's Zach Gallen.
Like I get why you ask this question.
Does it matter if it's at home or
on the road? Most likely.
Yeah.
I guess not most likely. There's obviously a good chance it's on the road.
Because here's the thing. Like you said, Zach Gallen's going in game 1. Yeah. Zach Gallen wins. Game 2, they lose. Yeah, Merrill Kelly maybe available. Maybe waited to have Merrill Kelly
honestly,
in the 3rd.
I agree. I think it would be pretty cool. I think it would be pretty cool if. I think that might be smart to throw, maybe do that Fott, Ciccone, Davies thing in the game 2, however you decide to do it with that 3rd arm.
Yeah.
And then you throw Merrill out there in game 2, especially or in game 3 or game 1 of the next series, especially because he's the mainstay. And if you do kind of a bullpen game in the game 2, you can somewhat reasonably rely on him giving your arms somewhat of a day off the next day because he's so efficient. And again, it's the postseason, so you barring like the cramp thing flaring back up, you could probably you should feel pretty good about Zach Davies or about Merrill Kelly pitching into the eighth, probably. Yeah. Like he should be able to accomplish that. So I wouldn't mind that kind of.
It's such a weird thing that we're having this conversation, and it's a real conversation because Merrill Kelly has been outstanding for this team this year. Zach Gallen obviously has been outstanding. Zach Gallen has been damn near unhittable at Chase Field, but Zach Gallen has had his ups and downs.
You got to re-sign Zach Gallen too at some point. That's you can't be telling Zach Gallen he's the number 2. Like at a certain point, that stuff does matter, and I think it would be far too detrimental to this team to insult
if you went with Merrill Kelly all of a sudden.
Why do I keep saying Zach? To insult Zach Gallen by having Merrill go 1.
That's a good point.
I think that would be too disrespectful.
Yeah, I agree. He did start the All-Star game, and he is currently your Cy Young betting favorite. So.
That's also true. He's going to be fresh off of Cy Young. You're going to tell him he's not starting. Yeah.
What else we got? Drunk Pirate 24 on Twitter, which I love that name, Nate. Nate Cleveland asks, first, I think we might be back. We are back, Nate.
Yes.
We can confirm.
I know we are back.
We are back. Second, can we change Martinez's nickname from J-Mart to Wild Thing? That's something I've seen a lot on Twitter. I don't know if Justin Martinez deserves a Wild Thing nickname yet.
I mean, I understand.
Is this because he throws wild?
Yeah,
I get that.
Like I don't listen. I'm sorry, Drunk Pirate. I don't mean this to be any kind of insult, but I think just calling a pitcher who throws triple digits and doesn't have control Wild Thing is lazy. Is it as lazy as calling someone with the last name that starts with Mart? That's fair, but I don't consider
Kmart.
I don't consider J Mart like a nickname. It's just like a shortening of his name, and the same like A-Rod is not. Yeah. I don't really consider A-Rod to be Alex Rodriguez's nickname. It's just a shorthand. It's what I call him.
My high school teammates used to call me Demon. Because DEMON, and I like that. I was a big fan of that.
Yeah, like I had my chemistry teacher in high school call me EDP, Eric DePaz. My first name's Eric, if you didn't know that. I didn't really consider that a nickname. It was just like
I'm only calling you EDP.
Well, I like EDP. Petey just calls me DP. That's got complications.
Isn't EDP that Eagles fan?
Oh yeah,
he's gotten a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's what you want.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
It was a lot cooler in 2016 or 2015. Yeah. It is now.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm sorry, Nate, but it's not just like it's a lot of people calling him, but everyone, I feel like that's just like natural. Like he throws fast and doesn't have control. I feel like it's just naturally, it's Wild Thing.
But he's more Wild Thing than like any other pitcher.
That's fair. That is fair. Like he is.
That's the best point.
He is like the textbook in the dictionary. You look up Wild Thing and
it's literally
throwing 103 5 feet off the plate.
Yes, yep.
So I'm like, I get it. It's not a bad nickname. I just feel like we gotta get more creative.
We also have Luis Frias, who could also be called Wild Thing.
I just feel like we gotta get more creative because there's so many people that can get called Wild Thing. Like we gotta get a little more. Like that's why I was a huge fan of giving him my Mr. Electric nickname.
Yeah.
But he hasn't really been that electric. It's been.
That's very true as well.
It's been electricity. It's more like a bolt of lightning. You don't really know where it's gonna go or when it's gonna show up, but. There's electricity involved.
It could damage some shit, though.
It could fuck some shit up. It's
going to fuck some shit up. What else we got, Damon? Next question comes from AZ Sports Girl 224. I don't want to talk about Paul Sewald breaking anymore. I thought I said that. She said, did we break Paul Sewald on Saturday night? Maybe. I hope not. I don't know. Like I said, Paul Sewald, he hasn't been to a point where all of a sudden Saturday night's performance was a surprise. It just felt like things finally came to a head after he seemed to kind of struggle a little bit more to make that ninth inning lock down. And then what happened? But I mean, can you attribute it also to his usage and how much the Diamondbacks have been calling on him as of late? I mean, I know that's your job as a closer.
Yeah.
And essentially, if you're a closer on a good team, like what happened with Felix Bautista with the Orioles, you're gonna get called on a lot, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, It's tough because I feel like I don't want to put too much value into this, but at the same time, I feel like there's such a sample size I have to kind of adjusting the idea of what success for a closing pitcher looks like when it's an Arizona Diamondback closing pitcher. It just nothing's smooth here. They're obviously gonna of course, it's difficult and he doesn't make it easy by and large, and obviously he's had a couple of outings that have gone really bad. But It's so much better than what we had. I still trust Paul. I trust Paul than literally any other pitcher that you are going to bring out. No, honestly, you tell me it's the 9th inning in a save situation of a World Series game, whatever. It's Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, and then Paul Sewald in terms of my trust level.
Yeah.
And so that's just going to be what this is. I don't really care. And I don't think anything.
Kevin Ginkel play tennis?
I'm putting Kevin Ginkel fourth, but I'm putting Paul Sewald before him for sure.
I trust Kevin Ginkel with my life.
I trust Paul Sewald with my life too. I just, that's going to be what this is. So it might not be smooth. I still trust him, and I don't think he's broken.
I don't know. He might be.
Also, back to the wild thing. I would really like to hope that J Mart just needs glasses. Because that would be like Jameis Winston. You want to talk about wild thing? That's Jameis Winston. Because I was like, he was wild. It was all over the place, 30 and 30, and then it was like, oh, but he got LASIK. He's gonna figure it out. He didn't figure it out, but
that would be incredible.
If it's just glasses and he gets glasses, then wild thing, I'm all in.
He puts on Zach Gallen's goggles and figures out that it's
gotta be the frames with the skull cross.
No, that's fine. We'll get him those. But I'm just saying, he figures it out.
He does one of those oh my God, let me see how blind you are. Let me put on your glasses. And he's like, oh my God, wow, I can actually see with these. And it's, maybe you actually need glasses. Like every conversation I've ever had with anybody who's ever wanted to try my glasses.
No. Wow, it's really clear. Yeah, it's because you have astigmatism.
Go to the fucking eye doctor, you weirdo.
Yeah. He's not wrong.
I look better with glasses. No, I actually don't look better with glasses. I think I look better without them. But I think I look okay with glasses. Everyone's just like, I'm going to look weird. No, you're not. There's 8 million different kinds of glasses. They can be a fashion statement in their own right. Get your eyes checked.
There you go.
And fix your smoke detector.
Yeah, get your eyes checked.
Put batteries. Vote in your local elections.
And don't forget to drink water. Okay? What else we got, Damon? Elizabeth wants to start a holy war here, knowing that Sean's on the show.
Yeah, I'm not answering.
What do you think Sean's answer is?
I'm not answering.
What do you think? What do you think, Damon?
I don't know. It could really go anywhere.
Elizabeth asked. Well, hold on. Let's get the question out there for the audio listeners. Elizabeth asks, which team has the worst fans?
Everyone knows what my answer is, so I'm gonna eliminate them. New York Yankees are the worst. Damon and I have had this conversation a couple of times recently, and I get I'm also going to kind of eliminate the Dodgers because, of course, it's the fucking Dodgers. Padres fans fucking suck. They are the worst. Padres fans are the worst. A, they're dog shit people, as we learned with the whole Tommy fan experience the last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I guess. Yeah. And B, for what? And this is not by any means an original take. This is something Damon said. For what? Y'all been dog shit your whole existence. You don't have anything to show for it. You got cool jerseys, and you signed some good players who haven't really done jack shit, and you're going to talk all this shit just because you got jerseys that look like highlighters threw up all over them, which I like. But and you brought the brown and gold back. Cool, bro. You haven't done anything. You're worse than Dodgers fans in that regard. At least they have that Mickey Mouse ring to show for it. You haven't accomplished shit. Shut up. Don't talk to me. We're a more successful franchise than you are. Go away. Stop talking to me and stop talking about players. You're all dog shit. Go to one of your other professional sports teams. Oh wait, you don't have any because your fan base is a joke.
I knew that was coming.
Go away. Also, Yankees fans suck. They're the worst.
Yeah, you better.
They're the worst.
I'm going to go in a different direction, and I'm going to say Marlins fans are the worst.
They don't deserve that. What Marlins fans?
That's the point. The Marlins have 2 World Series championships in comparison to these fucking Padres that he's talking about that have 0. And they still don't come out and still don't support their team. I get it. It's Miami. There's cool shit to do. I was going to say
there's a million things to do there.
I get it. Then move the goddamn team because they don't deserve to have a team if they're not going to come out and show love for the team.
And, I will say this. In their defense, City of Champions, they've had other successful teams since then. So there's they do have 2 rings, but as far as Miami's concerned, they haven't. There's the Heat, even the Panthers have been more successful than they have been. So
called the fucking Arizona Diamondbacks the Phoenix Diamondbacks tomorrow, they would still be the same team, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Is they're still the same team.
About the Marlins is, to be fair, with those 2 rings, they sold off their entire team both times. It's hard to get continuity with a fan base when you win it all, and then the ownership's like, well, we're not paying anybody.
But what's worse? Overpaying guys like the goddamn Padres did to end up 8 games back in the fucking wild card, or fucking get rid of these assholes and get guys that hit 25% of the time instead of 27% of the time and fucking succeed financially and on the field. I don't get it, but yeah.
But I mean, saying, the Marlins, they haven't been good in 15 years. They haven't really been worth shit.
They're good right now.
Barely.
Kinda.
Barely. Yeah. Their Cy Young pitcher, their defending Cy Young pitcher was dog shit for the first half of the year. They had Derek Jeter show up, trade their best player in the last 15 years to his former franchise. I wouldn't be that in on the team either. They've changed their branding 3 times in the last decade.
We're both wrong. We're both wrong. Elise said it. She said, let's be real. It's Nuggets fans.
Oh, yeah. Are we? Right. Oh, did they say baseball fans or did they just say fans? No,
you said fans, but she's right. Let's, Bill
Tottenham Hotspur fans?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys all the way. What else we got? We got one more question. As we wrap things up, and it comes from the one and only Chris. Chris asks, create the best outfield +1 4 total players from any D-backs roster all time.
4 Alec Thomases.
4 Alec Thomases?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'm assuming
we're not getting much done at the plate.
Yeah,
now.
I'm assuming we're talking both offensively and defensively. Yeah. Are we building a team or we want
this is like a historical all-star team.
Well, because how do you... then Corbin's got to be on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Yeah, Corbin's right field, in my opinion. Gonzo's left field. Justin Upton center. Steve Finley center. Maybe Justin Upton as the alternate.
Are we getting guys at their peaks?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you go
Adam Jones?
Upton was a top 5 MVP candidate.
Adam Jones. Shit.
If we're getting peak Adam Jones, if we're getting peak D-backs Adam Jones.
You got to go with D-backs.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with it. Timmy LaCastro.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need speed on the base pass.
I think yours is the right answer.
Yeah, that sounds...
Yeah, that
sounds right.
Because that's the big... Alec Thomas, I want to be there. I think Alec Thomas, when I look at a lot of the outfielders historically for this team, is probably one of the best defensive outfielders there. But Steve Finley was fucking incredible as an outfielder. Steve Finley, Justin Upton, when he gave an effort, was awesome.
Peralta was really good as well.
Yeah.
It would be... I think the last spot should be between Peralta and Finley.
If we were doing the show...
Upton, Luis, Gonzalez, and Corbin should be automatic.
David Peralta is hard because I've never thought of him very much as much as what he was to this team. And I think that's what hurts of him being a Dodger so much is we call Gabby Moreno Mr. Diamondback.
Yeah, but I was just about to say, if we were doing the show 4 years ago,
David Peralta is Mr.
Diamondback. Yeah.
1,000%. So that's a hard one. And honestly, Gabriel Ferrer said it too. All-star season, AJ Pollock was an incredible player for this team as well. All these guys went to play for the Dodgers and broke my heart afterwards. So
what do you do, JD Martinez? Technically an outfielder.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that 4th outfielder spot.
But again, you're talking about outfielders in the concept, or that's what we were saying earlier, both defensively and at the plate. So I'm trying to think of the best player we had that were outfielders.
Are you upset if you got to stick JD Martinez in the field?
No, not at all. Right field, he'll be fine in right field.
Yeah, I don't really know who you kick out in that situation, but
you guys want to hear something absolutely nuts?
As always.
Offensive war leaders, career leaders for the D-backs. Corbin Carroll is 19th.
What?
Wow.
In his rookie season.
Is that sad or exciting? Is it both?
The answer is yes. The answer is
it's
yes.
both.
Well, we appreciate you guys being here for Mailbag Monday. Of course, as always, make sure to check out our friends at Circle K. You know where Circle K is. They're located all around the valley. You can get them everywhere. It is America's thirst stop. And of course, they have a brand new free membership program called The Inner Circle. And this is not a pro wrestling promo I'm doing. This has nothing to do with Chris Jericho. I am not going to sing Judas, but you can be part of the Inner Circle. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And here's the thing, is the Inner Circle is going to get you 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups. Right now, gas is outrageously expensive everywhere. Not only does Circle K have great prices on gas, but they're going to get you that extra 25 cents off per gallon for your first 5 fill-ups. That alone is worth joining the Inner Circle as well. But you also get 6 free on every 6th free on a selection of Circle K products. We've told you, don't sleep on those Circle K branded snacks. They're awesome. And right now, pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, every 6th one is free for you over at Circle K. So join the Inner Circle today. And you also have Sammy Guevara has your back. That's a wrestling reference. I'm sorry on that one. But speaking of other things that are enjoyable that might not be considered real sports, check out the official golf apparel partner of PHNX and ALLCITY. Look, I'm not attacking golf. It's a leisure sport. All right. We all know it's a leisure sport. And one place to get your leisure wear for a leisure sport like that is Pins and Aces. Now, it's not just for golf. It's for everybody. You can wear these shirts, these incredible polo shirts all the time. They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even our favorite thing ever, the beer sleeve, which, again, not just for golf. It goes with me anywhere I need to go. It allows you to store 7 beers in there. That's the perfect amount for Derek. It is a family-owned golf and apparel business, and, of course, we love our Pins and Aces gear. Also, make sure to check out, if you're a fan of golf and got very offended by the thing I just said a little while ago, our friends at Big Drive Energy, wherever you get your podcast. Spencer and the boys got you taken care of when it comes to golf. And make sure to check out pinsandaces.com and use code PHNX to receive 15% off your first order, and you will get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com.
I need to ask a question. Jose said that gas was almost $4 today, $3.93. Yeah. Buddy, where the fuck do you live? Because I need to come get your gas. My shit's like $4.43.
I paid $4.27 yesterday. Yeah. So we need to talk about this.
I'm coming to get gas wherever you're at.
Yeah. For real.
Because even Circle K, who's got the cheapest gas on the block, is expensive right now. Mm-hmm. That's just how gas works. They can't control that. Snack's still cheap, though.
Yeah. It's still cheaper than wherever you're getting your gas. Sure. Also, don't miss out, again, on our countdown to kickoff sale right now. All T-shirts, all hats, $24.
It's all the T-shirts. Buy all the Diamondback shirts.
Just buy them all.
Every single one. Yep.
You know that we need to come up with a name for the snake wrapped around.
Do we have names for the other ones?
Well, he's Rattler. The other one's Rattler.
The logo, like our pod logo, or the one around the bats? The other
the one around the bats.
The multiple bats is Rattler.
We need to. Yeah, our podcast logo doesn't have a name either. We need to get him.
Yeah, because Coyote's name there is Cody. Cody the Coyote.
I love him. He's a good boy. He's right there behind me. Again, another one of the shirts you can get on sale right now. But we appreciate you guys stopping by. You can follow us on Twitter in the meantime. Not this one. This one's USA. We don't sell this on our website, but we can. I got a closet full of our PHNX shirts. So make sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm at cap_caveman with a K.
When Marcus said he was trying to give us a super chat.
Oh, well.
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but we appreciate the thought.
You.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, we love you, Marcus, anyway, regardless if you sent money in the super chat or not.
We love you more when you can send money.
Yeah. What?
What?
Oh, huh? Tweet to him and send him money at Shawn_DePaz.
Well, I mean, if you want to.
Yeah, whatever. He's got a wish list on Amazon.
Don't send me money. No, don't do it. My Venmo's not Shawn-DePaz. I think it might just be at Shawn-DePaz. You're
not giving out your Cash App, are you? What is doing out? Shawn.
Cash at me at Shawn-DePaz. Don't do that.
Our producer, of course, is the maniac behind the Mac. It's Damon. We are Damon's dogs. And he is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG.
At Shawn-DePaz. My Venmo's definitely not at Shawn-DePaz.
You were just double checking?
No, I mean, I just got the right one. Honestly,
you fucking absolute
I didn't
criminal.
want anybody to if they were, since it became like a thing.
You're a monster.
But imagine, I would have been a bigger monster if someone Venmo'd at Shawn-DePaz and they sent them money. Because then not only am I a piece of shit, but I don't even get the benefit of it.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to make sure they're not sending some stranger money. Don't send me money either. To be clear, do not send me money. Do not send me money.
Definitely don't.
I want this to be very clear because I don't want this to be like a thing now where like, oh, Shawn was asked. Do not send me money. I do not want you to send any money. I will send it back. I promise you. Do not send me money.
I'm at cap_caveman with a K.
What's your Venmo?
I won't be. That's the same one, and I won't be sending it back.
David, okay. See, he's the piece of shit, not me.
I really am. I'm now, a scumbag, but I'm your scumbag.
If I send it back to you and then you send it back, I'm not sending it back the second time. I'm not that good.
He's right. I will not be singing Judas, by the way, Scott. I saw you asking that in there, but yeah, maybe Venmo me and then I'll send you a cameo.
That's how Nashville works.
Yeah,
the whole thing in Nashville, you Venmo the people $20, they'll play you any song.
There you go. Well, we'll do the same thing here if you want to talk about anything Diamondbacks related. That's what Mailbag Mondays are for.
Big enough super chat.
It's free. It's free. But again, our show's at PHNX D-backs on Twitter. All roads lead to at PHNX_sports. And that's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your money, for your time, for your love. And we appreciate you stopping by. And, like I said, baseball is fun. Diamondbacks are fun. Baseball is fun. But remember, kids, it's so much more fun when you play meaningful games in September. Let's go.